Top 120 Selenium interview questions and answers. What is Selenium and what is it used for? Selenium is open source automation testing tool used primarily for testing web applications across different browsers and platforms. It allows testers to simulate user interactions with a web application to ensure its functionality, performance, and reliability. Name the components of the Selenium suite. Selenium IDE, Selenium WebDriver, Selenium Grid, Selenium RC. These are the four components of Selenium suite. Selenium IDE means a record and playback tool for creating test scripts quickly. Selenium WebDriver means a programming interface to create robust uh, browser-based automation scripts. Selenium Grid means used for parallel test execution across multiple machines and browsers. Selenium RC is deprecated, the earlier version of WebDriver used for automation. What is Selenium WebDriver? Selenium WebDriver is an advanced component of Selenium that provides a programming interface to control browser actions. It interacts directly with the browser using native browser automation APIs, making it faster and more efficient than older tools like Selenium RC. How does Selenium differ from other automation tools like Qtp? Selenium is open source tool. Qtp is commercial and paid one. Uh, Selenium does support only web applications. Qtp does support web, desktop, and mobile applications. Selenium supports all programming languages like Java, Python, C Sharp, Ruby, PHP, all these things. Qtp does support only VB-script. Selenium does support cross-platform. Qtp does support limited to Windows. Selenium does supports major browsers like Chrome, Firefox, Edge, Safari, all these things. Qtp has limited browser support. Can Selenium automate desktop applications? Why or why not? No, Selenium cannot automate desktop applications because it is designed specifically for testing web applications. Desktop applications require different automation tools such as AutoIT, Pinium, Pivinoto, which interact with the operating system graphical user interfaces. What are the limitations of Selenium? Selenium, no support for desktop applications, requires programming knowledge to write test scripts, no inbuilt reporting, requires external libraries like TestNG or Extend reports, limited support for mobile testing, requires tools like Appium, dynamic element handling can be challenging, no technical support, it is an open source tool. Different difference between Selenium 3 and 4. Selenium 3 is JSON-wide protocol. Selenium 4 is W3C standard web drivers. Uh, Selenium 3 relative locators not supported. Selenium 4 relative locators introduced. Those are above method and below method. Selenium 3 no DevTools integration. Selenium 4 added Chrome DevTools protocols support for advanced debugging. Selenium 3 grid support, limited grid features. Selenium 4 enhanced grid architecture with Docker support. Selenium 3 documentation is less comprehensive. Selenium 4 improved official documentation. Supported browsers for Selenium. What are the browsers supported for Selenium? Selenium does support all browsers: Google Chrome, Firefox, Edge, Safari, and Internet Explorer. Difference between Selenium IDE and Selenium WebDriver. Selenium IDE is record and play block for beginners. Selenium WebDriver is a programmatic control for advanced testing, requires coding in supported languages, and also complex and dynamic test. Can Selenium be used for mobile testing? If yes, how? Selenium does support mobile testing. Yes, Selenium can be used for mobile testing directly by integrating with Appium tool. Appium is built on top of Selenium WebDriver and is designed specifically for automating mobile applications, both Android and iOS. Appium uses the same WebDriver API, enabling testers familiar with Selenium to test mobile apps. How to set up Appium? Install Appium server, connect to mobile device emulator, write scripts using the WebDriver API to interact with the mobile app. What is the WebDriver interface? WebDriver interface in Selenium provides a set of methods for automatic interactions with web applications. It defines the standard contract that all browser-specific drivers like Chrome driver, Firefox driver must implement like these methods. Get the method, find element method, and close quit are these are the common methods. How do you set up WebDriver for a browser? To set up WebDriver for a browser, in earlier days, to set up WebDriver, download the browser driver and also set the browser path, initialize WebDriver and launch URL. Now currently no need this driver setup. Directly you can use this WebDriver driver, new Chrome driver. You can launch the Chrome browser. How do you How do you locate web elements in Selenium? Web elements are located using various locators: ID, name, class name, tag name, link text, partial link text, CSS selector, XPath. Explain difference between find element and find elements. Find element returns the single web element. Find elements returns the list of web elements. If there is no element found in the using find element, it throws no such element exception. It throws if there is find elements, if there is no matching element, it returns the list empty list. For locating single or specific element, for locating multiple elements at once. What are the types of locators supported by Selenium? Selenium supports following locators like IDE name, class name, tag name, link text, parcel link text, CSS selector, XPath. What is the difference between get method and navigate to method? Get opens the specified URL. Navigate to method specified the navigates to a specified URL. Does the maintain browser history? Get method maintain the browser history. Does not maintain this. Navigate to method maintains the browser history. How to the syntax of this get method and navigate to method? Driver that get the parenthesis double quote pass URL name URL. Driver that navigate to dot pass in the parenthesis pass URL. One more difference between navigate get method and navigate to method. Get method is used whenever launching the browser. It wait for complete load page. Navigate to method does not wait for complete load page. How do you handle dropdowns in Selenium? Selenium provides a select class for handling dropdowns. Selenium provides the select class for handling dropdowns. Instantiate the select class. Web element dropdown. Find the element. Drop down ID or name or XPath whatever. Driver dot find element by dot ID based on the locator we can pass here. And with the help of select class, select new select of, you can pass the reference of this dropdown here. Based on the main options to find in do handling drop downs by using visible text, by using index, by using value. Select by value, select by visible text, select by value, select by index. How do you interact with alerts in Selenium? We can handle alerts in Selenium. Alert driver dot switch to dot alert. Generally alerts we have accept, dismiss alert, accept alert. We can get the alert. We can get the test of the alert with the help of get text method. And you can pass the send the input to the alert with the help of send case method. What is the difference between driver dot close and driver dot quit? Driver dot close the current browser window. Driver dot close all the browser window opened by WebDriver. Remains active if other windows exist. Terminate the WebDriver session. How do you perform keyboard and mouse actions in Selenium? Selenium provides the action class for advanced interactions like new actions of driver in the parenthesis pass driver. Actions dot move to element. Here to pass the element means here the XPath. Perform actions on those element. Right click, actions dot context click, drag and drop, actions dot drag and drop, source, comma, target, perform. perform keyboard actions like actions dot send keys dot enter, perform up and down, actions dot key down, keys dot control send keys dot keys up, keys dot control perform. What is the difference between click and submit method? Click is a web element, submit is a form, and which is not much important. How do you capture screenshot in Selenium? To capture screenshot in Selenium, use take screenshot interface. Take screenshot interface, file screenshot, take screenshot in the you can pass driver here. Dot get screenshot as output type dot file. Save the screenshot to a specific location. File utils dot copy file screenshot comma new file. Pass the path location of the screenshot path. This is a complete method for taking screenshot. How do you handle dynamic web elements in Selenium? Dynamic web elements can change their properties such as ID, name, text over a time. To handle them, use XPath with dynamic attributes. Web element driver that find element by that XPath with the help of contains. Use dynamic waits, WebDriver waits. WebDriver wait, new WebDriver wait, pass the how much time wait, driver comma 10 seconds. How do you get the title and the URL of the web page using Selenium? String title, there is a method called get title method. This with the help of get title, you can get the title of the page, and there is a current URL method, get current URL method. With the help of get current URL method, you can get the current URL of the page. What is the use of is displayed, is enabled, is selected? Is displayed checks the element is visible on the page. Is enabled checks the element is enabled, can be interacted with. Is selected checks the element or checkbox or radio button is selected. How do you handle frames in Selenium? To interact with the elements inside a frame, first switch to the frame. Switch to the frame index. uh, Based on the index, driver that switch to that frame 0 in the index starts from 0. So from passing 0 here, switch to frame by name or ID. Driver that switch to that frame, it's a frame name. Driver that switch to that based on the web element. Driver dot find element, select the frame ID, then switch to the that element, that frame. After the switching, then coming back to default, driver dot switch to the default content. How do you switch between multiple windows or tabs in Selenium? Get the current window handle, driver dot get window handle, storing in parent window, storing this reference name, parent window name, and switch to the another window here using for enhanced for loop for string window handle colon driver dot get window handles. If not equal to window handle dot equals parent window, driver dot switch dot window handle. How do you perform drag and drop operations in Selenium? Selenium provides as an action class for drag and drop operations. With the help of action has driver dot drag and drop source and target to perform operations. What is the purpose of wait for method in Selenium IDE? What are some common exceptions in Selenium? Mainly the Selenium common exceptions are no such element exception, element not visible exception, timeout exception, stale element reference exception, WebDriver exception, null pointer exception. No such element exception, throw when the element could not be located, element not visible exception, thrown when the element is present but not visible, timeout exception, thrown when a command takes longer than the specified time wait time. Stereo element reference exception thrown when a reference to be element is no longer valid. WebDriver exception thrown for general WebDriver issues such as browser crashes. Null pointer exception thrown when the trying to interact with the null object reference. What is the difference between implicit wait and explicit wait? Wait for a certain amount of time for all elements to appear. Waits for specific condition to be met for a particular element. Applies globally to all elements in the scripts. Applies only to the specific element or condition specified. Less flexible, cannot specify different wait times for different elements. More flexible, allows waiting for specific conditions like visibly or clickable. Set once using. How do you use fluent wait in Selenium? Fluent wait is used to define a maximum wait time and the polling frequency for checking a condition. It also ignoring specific exceptions. Example: fluent new fluent wait with timeout, with polling every seconds and ignoring procedure limit exceptions. What is the importance to use waits in Selenium scripts? Stability, handling asynchronous behavior, reduces failures, improves reliability. What is a WebDriver wait and how it is used? WebDriver wait is an explicit wait in Selenium that waits for specific conditions to be met before proceeding. It is built on top of Fluent wait. This is the example how to use WebDriver wait. How do you implement custom waits conditions in Selenium? Custom conditions can be implemented using expected conditions or lambda expressions. This is the example. Custom expected conditions using lambda expressions. How do you wait for an element to be clickable? Use expected conditions that element to be clickable method. This is the way. What happens if you wait times out? If the wait times out, Selenium throws a timeout exception. The script execution moves to the next line and the test may fail if the element was necessary. This is an example of wait for the element. Can you combine implicit and explicit waits in Selenium? Not recommended. Combining implicit and explicit waits can cause unexpected behavior. Reason: explicit waits continuously pool for condition. Adding implicit waits make each pool wait for the implicit wait time, leading to longer than expected delays. How do you wait for a page load completely in Selenium? Wait for the ready state to become complete using JavaScript executor. JavaScript executor JS JavaScript executor pass the driver here. WebDriver wait, new WebDriver wait driver pass. Now this is the implicit wait expression. JS dot execute script. It documented ready states equals complete. How do you handle Ajax calls in Selenium? Wait for specific conditions like element visible or changes caused by the Ajax response using WebDriver wait. This is a WebDriver wait example here. Using JavaScript executor to wait for Ajax completion. This is an example here. What is TestNG and how does it integrate with Selenium? TestNG is a text next generation. It is a testing framework inspired by JUnit, but with advanced features such as annotations, data-driven testing, parallel test execution, and dependency management. Integration with Selenium, TestNG organizes and executes Selenium test cause using test methods. Test causes can be grouped, prioritized, or executed in parallel. It provides detailed HTML reports for a Selenium test. This is the integration. This is the integration code. How do you use annotations in TestNG? TestNG provides annotation to define the behavior and sequence of test methods. like at the rate test, at the rate before suit, at the rate after suit, at the rate before class, at the rate after class, at the rate before method, at the rate after method, at the rate data provider, at the rate parameters supplies data to test methods. Okay. At the rate test means marks a method as a test case. Method before suit execute once before all tests in the suit, execute once after all tests in the suit, execute before the first method in the current class, execute after the last method in the current class, execute before each at the test method, execute after each at the test method, supplies data to the test method, passes parameters from the XML file. What is the role of data provider in test engine? The data provider annotation allows passing multiple sets of data in a single test method, enabling data-driven testing. How to pass data provider annotation like this? There is a data provider named test data. JUnit no need. How do you set up parallel execution test engine? This one is important. Use the parallel attribute in the test engine XML file, like in the suit name, parallel suit, parallel methods, thread count 2. Like this you can pass. How do you generate a test report in test engine? Test engine automatically generates a detailed HTML report in the test output directory after execution. Custom reports you can implement iReporter or iTestListener interfaces to create custom reports. What is the purpose of test suite in test engine? A test suite is a collection of test cases grouped together in XML file or execution. How do you handle dependencies in test engine? Use a dependency on method or dependency on groups attributes in the test annotation. Like one test like this, dependency on methods. Login functionality. How do you integrate Selenium with Maven? Create Maven project and add Selenium test engine dependency in the bombed XML file. Then add dependency in the bombed XML file. How do you integrate Selenium with Jenkins for CI/CD pipeline? Install Jenkins, download and set up Jenkins on your system. Install Maven test engine plugins. Add these plugins in Jenkins. Set up a project. Create a new Jenkins job. Create the job. Pull the Selenium project code from the version control system. Git. Add build plugins. Add build steps. Choose invoke top level Maven targets or add execute shell to run Maven test to run MVN test. Configure test reports, public test engine reports using the test engine plugin. Run the job. Trigger the job manually to configure to run automatically in the repository. What are desired capabilities in Selenium? Desired capabilities is a class used in Selenium to set properties for WebDriver session.